I can't emphasize this enough, but we are so honored that you've been able to take time out of your busy schedule to be here with us today. It means a great deal, not just to us, not just to Sierra Leone, and not just to West Africa or the African continent, but to everyone who is passionate and very, very keen on contributing to the progress of the continent. For me, especially as a woman in leadership, I'm very, very excited when I found out that you were a he for she campaign champion. And obviously that's not something we often see that is prioritized in leadership spaces. And so for me, I'm very curious, what does gender equity mean to you personally? And how does that translate into policy and culture?
Thank you very much. I am a he for she, truly speaking, because I was fortunate maybe to have been raised by a single mother when I lost my dad at the age of 4. She did not have the fortune of going to school. She knew nothing about education. But because of her own values, tenacity, and hard work, she raised me single-handedly to be who I am today. May I so rest in peace. So for me, the agency in women I have witnessed firsthand, and maybe I'm a product of that. And that is why I value the contribution of women who have been put at the back. You know, most times in Africa, they should be in the kitchen. They should not be heard. So when I had the opportunity to be at the helm, I thought it was incumbent upon me to pay back.
That's really good.
And to also to help national contribution, because it's a disservice to say that you want to keep more than half of your population not engaged in the development process and think that we, the men, can do it all. That is a disservice. You must go full throttle on both sides. And the fact that women have not been fortunate because of structural restraints that we had put on them to be educated, to be empowered, and to be given equal opportunity, I thought my presidency would be a moment of liberation for them. And I've done quite a lot to liberate them, move them from the dungeons they have been placed, and to be wherever they can be. So we have had to pass the Women's Empowerment Bill, Gender Empowerment, and now women, at least starting from Parliament and all other positions, including the corporate space, you can have nothing less than 30% of women in Sierra Leone. Women can now own properties, which is not the case. So there's quite a lot involved in that. But that is my very first step. And I'm fortunate to have a wife who is an activist for women too, and a godchild, who has complemented my effort. I have led a people-centered administration. My programs have been people-centered. So what I have done is to make sure that the first reform actually was in the education sector. And that is because I know the power of education. So we made education, access to education free, and made it even more free for the godchild. If you were in Sierra Leone, you can go from preschool to the end of university because you are doing STEM discipline courses. You won't pay a dime. This is all for the women folk to catch up because they have been left behind for far too long. So there's quite a lot going on in that space. She recently, with the support of many others, she built a coalition to bring about prevention of early marriage, teenage marriage. Before, and in many African countries, even as I speak, girls at the age of 12, 11, 13 are being sent into marriage. Today in Sierra Leone, by law, and we are enforcing that law, it's a crime. There is a law, and we just passed that in addition to the gender bill that we passed. There was a time when rape of young girls and women became so rampant, I had to declare an emergency. And we put in place so many measures. This is all to protect the women, their dignity, and to allow them, especially the young girls, to nurture them and support them so that they can be equal partners. They can never reach become women of substance if we do not nurture them, if we do not give them a special place. So I have been considered a he for she because the only parent I had was a she.
Yes.
And she did a good job, as you can see.
She did. Wow, that's so powerful. Your Excellency, if I may, I want to ask you one final question. And that's because across Sierra Leone and the wider West African region, you are definitely seen as someone who is committed to laying down the foundations for transformation. And I read about what you do. I'm sitting with you having conversations, and I'm in awe. What drives you? Like, what drives that approach, and what keeps you going?
Maybe I need to give you a sneak preview into my past.
Yes.
As a former military man, and I've had the opportunity of leading the government. And I thought it was necessary that I had so much experience. And during the intervening years, when I left and I went back to become democratically elected, I lived in very developed democracies around the world. I lived here, I lived in France, and I also lived in the United States. You cannot undertake fundamental reforms in a system and want it to survive without laying the foundation.
That's true.
So I normally make the analogy, if you want to build a skyscraper, the foundation must be as strong as how high you want to go. So for me, we are pushed into, what is your priority? For me, I know that in the 21st century, education is the best foundation. The human capital. And when I talk about human capital, I mean taking care, feeding the mind through education, feeding this belly, the tummy, through food security, and taking care of the being through health. So this is what we call human capital. It's not just about education or maybe health. We combine all of these to mean human capital development. If you have a healthy person that is well educated and of course not malnourished, they are fit to go and they can survive anywhere in the world. So that is my mission. And to make Sierra Leoneans competitive around the world, as we were before, we were referred to as the Athens of West Africa because the first Western university south of the Sahara was founded in Sierra Leone in 1827. So for me, our prowess then was projected not because of weapons or any other thing, but because of knowledge, formation, and sharing, which we did very well at the Frobe College. So I am eager to bring Sierra Leone back to its glory, especially in the 21st century. And that is why I've insisted on fit for purpose education. Fit for purpose education, one that will take them anywhere and they will be competitive, not just stay home and get employment and not produce. They have to be productive, they have to be healthy, and of course, they cannot be productive if they are not well educated.
That's really powerful. Please, another round of applause for His Excellency.